Coming up in our next story, we're going to get our hands a little dirty along with some students from Beersford. You know, learning about history and science can be a lot of fun if you take an artistic approach. Tom and Wanda Clark from Sioux Falls were on hand to demonstrate an historic pottery technique that has a bit of a modern twist.
Some good fire there. There we go. One more piece. Doing aluminum foil baked potato pots.
This isn't a baking class.
It's just a chemical wash, ferric chloride.
Well, this is the stuff that eats your clothes.
Yes. Okay, so then we put just a little sugar. The sugar is the little black spot. Everything is in moderation.
It is a bit of a chemistry experiment, though it's not a class dedicated to science either.
Raku is a special type of firing and a special type of clay, and it's supposed to resemble traditional Japanese pottery that is used in the tea ceremony.
It actually started out as a Chinese technique of actually taking the pieces out of a kiln and putting them out to cool and crack and craze and change and the air hitting them to change.
Wanda and Tom Clark create pieces of pottery using this particular technique.
We've been doing ceramics and pottery for about 38 years now. When we started out, we were just out of high school.
To master the process, an artist has to understand the history of the style, the variety of chemical reactions that occur, and how slight changes in the environment may determine the end result. This is a process that has evolved over hundreds of years. Artists in China were discovered by Japanese royalty.
The emperor saw that in China, brought that idea back to Japan. In the early 50s, there were several of the American potters went to Japan basically to learn the technique of what the Raku family was doing. The family is very, very easy about passing on what they know. What we do now is actually what they would actually consider an Americanized Raku. We're actually post-firing the pieces after we heat them. They're going into the kiln. They're 1800 degrees when we fire them up. It's there in a half hour to 45 minutes. Then we're post-firing. We're actually putting them in a combustible paper and sawdust. We want to burn that air out from underneath that can. And that process started because they dropped their piece in the grass and started to leave the grass on fire. They covered it up quick. They didn't want a grass fire going in their kiln yard. So when they lifted it up, it was all the iridescent colors, and that's what we're doing. It's an ever-evolving process.
Raku pottery is a showcase of the chemical reactions between a glaze, burnable items added to the pot, heat, and the consumption of oxygen.
Raku is kind of like Christmas. It's you might have an idea, but it can be a really total different surprise when you open that package up, and that's the fun part.
Then we do a technique called baked potato aluminum foil pots. The lines on this piece are just single pieces of horsehair, and the little black dots is sugar. And this is what we do. We take this outside and we brush ferric chloride full strength right on the pot. Then we wrap it up in aluminum foil. Tom heats it up to 1300 degrees just till the aluminum foil starts to melt. And then we take it out and voila, we'll get something like this. Very unpredictable in the results, but usually very pretty.
Tom and Wanda continue to hone their own technique while teaching the style of pottery to others. They do what they can to fan a flame in young students and build their understanding of this ancient art.
Traveling workshops was Tom's idea. He had a lot of schools that asked him, well, can't you come to our school and fire for our students? We'd love to do this at our school.
And in Raku firing, you guys have already made your pieces, and we fired them. What are they called now when they're fired? Before they were fired, they were greenware because they were green and soft and could still be broken. They've changed colors. They've had a chemical change. They're now hard and cannot be remolded again. So now they're called bisque.
I got started because I met Tom and Wanda Clark. They're so good with children, and they come down and do such a great job that it's something that we really enjoy inviting them to bring to our school.
You're there. Make sure you go fire. Say fire, fire, fire. Get a good fire going. One more piece. We'll put that one in here. See the color changer.
Whether the art teachers work with them, before they come over, and give them an idea of what's going to be happening.
It's a cross-curricular experience because We talk about biology. I know when I'm throwing on the wheel, I have natural sponges in my bucket, and we talk about that. And some, the very young students don't realize that they're actually animals or had been animals. We talk a lot about geology. We talk about where clay comes from. We get into a lot of discussions about things that involve more than just making a pot.
Students from all grade levels participate in some way during this workshop.
Each child made their own pottery. For the younger children, we did a pottery demonstration, a wheel-thrown piece, and then that became a gift that will be going either to a teacher or to a friend of their class.
There's a lot of cool colors that you can put on your painting or on your pot, stuff like that.
The more advanced students can choose to be volunteers. They can be helpers for the day, and that's kind of a coveted position, and they can spend the whole day with the Raku team that comes in, the artists, and so that's a lot of fun for them. They really enjoy that because they're doing what they love for the whole day instead of just for one class period. The other students get to watch, and they get to see the pottery going in the kiln, coming out of the kiln. We get to see demonstrations. So we have pretty good involvement with a lot of students.
I was helping out taking the pottery out of the oven and putting them underneath the buckets. The thing that surprised me was the color effects on the glaze when the air was introduced.
I like this process better because of the fact that we get to watch it get fired, and it doesn't take as long to get fired and watch the colors change as in with regular firing. It takes 3 to 4 days.
Tom and Wanda are still working to master the ancient technique of raku and continue to learn with the students that they teach. The process involves a lot of patience to get the particular formula or recipe down, but they say that they enjoy the journey.
Not everybody can draw, and not everybody can paint.
If you just give a little ball of clay to a 5-year-old and tell them just to put their thumb in it and then start pinching it around and make a pinch pot, and just to see the look on their face when they do that, and then they have this little pot in their hand.
I still get it every time I pick up a piece of clay. If there's a day that you're in this business that you don't learn something new, you're not trying. There's always another technique, and there's always another way to do it, and it's just constantly fun. The day that I don't learn anything about pottery, the day I'm just going to totally quit.